Hi and welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to show you how to use the table of content widget with the Plus Addons for Elementor. With this widget, you'll be able to create a dynamically generated table of contents. In other words, it will pull out all the headings from your page and organize them neatly as a table. And you can display them as a toggle window, you can add a colored background, and you can even have it fixed on the side of your page. But one thing is sure is that with this highly customizable widget, you are certain to make a very strong first impression. I'm Dave and I'm bringing you these guest tutorials on behalf of the Plus Addons for Elementor. Now make sure to subscribe to the channel, that way you won't miss a single update. Now let's dive right into it. And our first step is to make sure that our widget is activated. And for this, we're going to the Plus Settings, Plus Widgets. In the search box, type in Content. And next to our table of content, you have a toggle switch. Make sure this one is turned on, just like this, and then click Save. Now we need to clear the cache. We're going to Performance, Purge all cache, click OK. And that's it, all done already. And now that our widget is activated, we can insert it in an Elementor page. So you'll find the widget here by the side. So if you scroll down, you'll find all the Plus Essentials add-ons right here on the left-hand side, including our table of content. Or you can simply type content in the search bar. And here is our table of content widget again. So to insert it in your page, simply drag and drop it, just like this. And now we have a table of content right here. Now, as you can see, the table of content was populated automatically and dynamically based on the content on this page. So let me show you how this works. So basically what this widget will do is to scan this page and fetch all the H tags, as you can see here, H1 to H6, so the headings, and it will reorganize them as a table of content. So you can see here introduction, that's the root level, type of TOC root level. Number 3 here, type of TOC root level, and this one is a sub-level, and this one is sub-sub-level. So let me show you how this is constructed on our page. So let's scroll down, and we have a first heading here, introduction. So this is a root level. If we go into style, you can see this one is a H2. So let's have a look at this one here. Again, style, this is H2. This one here, again, this is H2, and now variations of TOC. This one is a H3, which indicates that this is the main heading, this is a subheading, and now we have this one here, variations of TOC. This is a H4, so we have H2, H3, H4. In other words, main level, sub-level, sub-sub-level. And you can see we also have an indentation here for each one of them. Now let's go back to our table of content widget and let's explore all the different options. So first you can select among different styles. So you have 4 styles. You have style number 1, style number 2, style number 3, and style number 4. I'm just going to disable this for now. And then you have the list type. So OL, basically it's numbered. So as you can see here at the front, you have those numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 3.1, 3.1.1, etc., etc. And if you select UL, this is bulleted basically. So you have bullet points right here. And these are plain and these are full basically, and these are hollow for the subcategories. And you can select which tags you want to display. So by default, you have H1 to H6. But here we have H2, H3, H4. So maybe you want to go as far as H3. So maybe you want to remove H4. So let's remove H6, H5, and H4. And as you can see, now we have main level and sub-level only. We don't have any sub-sub-level anymore. Now, if you wanted to display it, you can easily add it. Click on the plus sign, select H4, and now we have main level, sub-level, and sub-sub-level. So let's add them all again. So H5 and H6. So that's how easy it is to add. Now we have child collapsed. So at the moment we have the main level, sub-level, sub-sub-level. If we enable this, we only have the main levels being displayed. Okay, so let's just disable this for now. And let's have a look at our content. So here we have a title, so table of content. This is our title. So you can change this if you want to. And then we can add a description. So basically the description will come between the title and the table of content itself. So for instance, we could have, please find below our table of content, click on any heading to access it. And we can even add an icon next to it. So if we enable this, as you can see, we now have an exclamation mark next to our table of content. And we can select whichever icon we want to display. So just click on this. And you can scroll down and choose among many different options here, as you can see. So let's go ahead maybe with the folder here. Why not? And then insert it. And as you can see, we now have our folder icon next to the title. Now let's have a look at our extra options here. And the first one is toggle. So let's enable this. And we have two options here. We can select two different icons for opening and for closing the section. So basically you can see it's displaying here by the side. So if you click on this, it will close the table of content. If you click on it, it will open it. So let's go and change our icons here. So for the open one, we could have a minus. This one here, insert. And for the close, we could have a plus sign. Like this one, insert. And as you can see now, we're going to close it or we're going to open it. So that works well as well. And then you can set the default mode as well. So you can display it or hide it. And then our next option is smooth scroll. Okay, so let's enable this. So a smooth scroll basically is when you click on those items, it will bring you to this section using a smooth scrolling effect. And you can change the duration. So the bigger the number, the slower the scrolling effect will be. So let me show you the difference between 500 and 1000. So let's update this. Let's have a quick preview. And if I click on conclusion, which is our last section, there you go. This is the effect. Now let's try 1000. Let's update. Quick preview. And let's go to the bottom of our page. As you can see, this is much slower. Now let's discover our next feature, which is the fixed table of content. And for this, I'm going to open a different page. And in order to use the fixed table of content, you need at least two columns like here. You need your main content in one and then your table of content in the other. So let me show you how it works. So now if I was to scroll down, my table of content will remain there fixed while I can scroll up and down my page. And as you can see, the color of the heading here is changing as well as we scroll along. So if I scroll down, as you can see, now we are at unique layout styles. This is mobile responsives, all tags supported. So every time you reach that paragraph with the different heading, it will highlight it here in a different color. And as always, you can go from one paragraph to the other just by clicking on the heading itself. Now let's have a look at our next feature, which is the hashtag. So if you enable this and you scroll down, you will see that it adds a hashtag next to your headings. And you can decide whether you want to show it immediately or just on hover. So then what is the purpose of those hashtags? So let me show you with an example. Now here we have a hashtag next to our heading. If we click on it, so this is our current URL. If we click on it, it will add a postfix in the URL at the end of the URL, as you can see here, hashtag step 1 read. So let me scroll down again. So we have step 2 make a plan. So if I click on this, we have hashtag step 2 make a plan. What does that mean? It means that if I was to share this URL exactly like this, if they were to open it in their web browser, it will bring them immediately to this section. And this is what the hashtag feature is for. Let me show you this feature here, heading active offset. And for this, we need a fixed table content. And I'm going to show you why. So at the moment, let's keep it at 0. Let's click update. And we're going to have a quick preview. Now, if I scroll down this page, as you can see, introduction is highlighted in green. So our next section will also be highlighted in green only when we reach the top of the page. So look at this now. So there you go. So this is basically an index of 0. Now let's go back here and let's increase that maybe to 185. Let's say 185, just like this. Click update. Now let's go and have a quick preview. So let's refresh our page. Now let's scroll down slowly and pay attention when this one will be highlighted in green. So there you go. So now we don't have to reach the top of the page. We have a 185 pixel difference in between the two. Now let's have a look at this section here. So you can see the first one here is restricted container area. And the note says that you can add a class name of container to restrict the table of content rendering. So this is very helpful as well. And as you can see, the other one will allow us to exclude any title. So let's explore those two options. So first, let's go and restrict some container area. So let's scroll down our page now. And if I hover on top of our text, it will reveal the main container area, which is our section here. So if I click on this, it says edit section. And if I scroll down, you will see I added a second one, this one here. So this is the second section. So let me scroll back up just to show you. So at the moment, the first section is showing and the second one as well, which is called new area. So now let's display only the top section and let's not display this one. So how do we go about this? Very simply, as I said, you click on your main section you want to display. You go into advanced. And then in the CSS classes here, we're going to create an ID, a unique ID for this CSS class. So let's keep it simple for the sake of our tutorial. So let's call it show content. And then now you highlight this, you copy it. And now we're going to go back to our table of content. Click on this, extra options. And right here, you're going to add a dot followed by the name of that section. There you go. And as you can see now, we only have the top section showing up. We don't have the new area anymore. So this is how you can restrict a specific container area. Now let's see how you can exclude a specific title. So let's delete this now. So let's say we want to display everything here except SEO friendly. So how do we go about this? At the bottom here, we can see we have a note. So we need to highlight this code here. So highlight this and then right click, copy. And now we're going to scroll down the page and we're going to find this section here. So SEO friendly. So we go into SEO friendly. You're going to click on the title. We're going to go into advanced, advanced again. And then in the CSS class, we're going to type this code. Going to paste it here, just like that. And then you're going to update and save. And then we'll have to refresh the page altogether for it to take effect. And now our SEO title is not part of our table of content anymore. Now, if it's still displaying here, you might have to clear the cache of your browser and then refresh again. And normally it should display properly. Okay, now let's go back to our layout and let's select one of the styles. So let's select style 1, for instance. And let's go and stylize this now. So we're going to style and I'm going to show you all the different options that you can use to tweak and change the appearance of your table of content. So the first thing we can customize is our heading. So obviously we can add margin or padding. So basically a bit of spacing in and around the area. And then we have our typography itself. So basically the typography is the type of font that you want to apply. So let's go ahead and let's select another one, maybe Poppins. Okay, we have Poppins. And then you can select the weight, so the thickness. So maybe something maybe like 700, just like this. And then you can change the color as well. So basically if you click on this, you can change the font color, maybe to a red or a jet black. And you can do the same if you were to hover on top. So let's say at the moment there's no color selected, but we could go maybe for a bluish color. Let's go with this one. So now it is black, but if I hover on top, it will turn blue. And then we can do the same for our description. We can change the font, decide which color you want in normal mode and which color we want if we hover on top. And the same for the icon. So basically our icon at the moment is right here. So we can change the size, make it bigger or smaller. So let's put it about this size. This would be about right. And then you can change the color. So if you want it to be red, maybe you can change it to red, or maybe you want it to be black, and when you hover on top, you can change the color again. So if you hover, it will turn red. And then we can add a background color. So it could be a plain color or a gradient. So let's use the paintbrush for now, and let's add a color. So maybe because we already have a gray background, maybe we can go with a white so that it stands out. So now that we have a background, we can actually add a bit of margin. So we go back on top here, and we're going to add some padding. So basically a padding, it's a spacing within the section in itself, whereas margin is outside the section. So let me show you. If I put 40 here, you can see it's all around the section itself. If I add padding, if I add 40, now the section is still white, but all the content has been pushed inside by 40 pixels. So this looks absolutely fine. So let's scroll down again, and you can add a border if you wanted to. So you can add a solid border. The thickness may be 2 pixels. Select the color. So let's go maybe with black, sorry. So this is maybe a bit too thick. So let's go with 1, just like that. And then you can add a border radius. So basically it's going to round all these edges. So let's go with 25. And as you can see, all these are rounded now. So we might want to add a bit of spacing between those two. So let's go back on top. And this time, this is a margin. So we're going to add a margin at the bottom. So maybe 30, just like this. Now let's customize the content of our table. So let's close this. We're going to content. So here, this one, you can use it to actually increase the indentation. So as you can see now, maybe 20 would be absolutely fine, or 25. Let's keep it to 25. Now let's go to the next. We have the content line. So you can see here by the side, our small line, we can increase that slightly. So you don't want to go too far, as you can see, otherwise you're going to hide the rest of the content. But we might go to maybe a 5 or a 6, just like this. And then we can change the color. So you have to go on to active here, because this is the active field. We can change the color. And then we have normal as well. We can change the color to red or to white. And this way you can give it the appearance of a scroll bar, like the sidebar of your browser. So let's remove this one for now. Let's keep it this way. Now we go to level 1 typography. And right here we can change the color of our font. So basically we're going to active. So active is this one in green. So we can change this color as well. So now we could have it red. So that way it matches our content line as well, which is in red. Now the normal one, it's all the others here. We can change the color as well. So maybe you want them to be jet black, just like this. And then we have the sub-level typography. So these are the sub-levels right here. So we can click on this. And again, we have the active ones and the normal ones, and you can change the color. So let's go ahead with this and let's change the color slightly. So let me put it red just to show you where they are. So these basically could be red. So let's keep them black anyways. And you can, of course, change the font for either of them, by clicking this pencil here. So for this sub-level and for the main level as well. And finally, you can configure the box in itself. So you can add padding. You can add a background color, whether in normal mode or when you hover on top. So let me show you what it looks like if we select a color. So let me go with a white color again. So as you can see, basically all the background of our section here will be in white. And if we add padding, it will push everything from the outside towards the inside of that section. And a final trick, if you wanted to, you can even add a box shadow. So just click on this. As you can see, we now have a nice shadow all around it. And you can change the angle if you wanted to. And you can change the blur and the opacity. So there you go, this is how you can implement the table of content widget on your website. And you will agree that it does add a lot of interest to your web pages. If you have any questions, post them in the comment section below. Again, my name is Dave, and it was a real pleasure to present this tutorial on behalf of the Plus Addons for Elementor, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out when new videos are being uploaded. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.